Thank you so much, Jeff, and thank you, Dominican, for this honor. As Jeff mentioned, I'm also an alum of Dominican University, and so I have to just start with gratitude for this community. Dominican has played such a pivotal role in my life as an educator. I experienced what it looks like to actually pursue trust, pursue truth, compassionate service, and the creation of a more just and humane world in practice. The Bradford-O'Neill Medallion for Social Justice is all the more meaningful because my experience as a student here pushed me to consistently lead with justice and humanity as a constant in my work. I had to think a lot about what it means to accept an award with social justice in the title. I had to reflect on what that term means for me personally. At the end of the day, it really does boil down to two core beliefs that drive all of my decisions as a leader and honestly drives all of the work that we do at OneGoal. The first is that the world will be more just when we stay firmly rooted in the needs and the desires of the most vulnerable amongst us. The second is we have to recognize that in order to do human work, you must work humanely. In our sector, we talk a lot about diversity, equity, and inclusion, but in my experience, we rarely talk about justice. What does it look like to actually center on the needs and the desires of the unheard? This has always been at the heart of who we are at OneGoal. When we designed a model, we didn't do so for the valedictorian. We did so for those who have received implicit and explicit messages that education beyond high school is not for them. When we looked at 2006 at the reality that 6 out of every 100 CPS students were getting a degree by age 25, we asked ourselves, what is the most just response for the 94? We recognized early in our tenure that we will get to the best solutions when we listen to the students with the most barriers. Those students deserve a real chance at their post-secondary aspirations. We recognize that when you listen to the students who have the most barriers, then you find answers. You start to realize that it's not just about applying to college. Instead, it's about ensuring students have access to social emotional support, diverse pathways, emergency financial assistance, personalized and holistic guidance. And when you think about those things, are the things we would want for anyone we know and love and care about. We've learned that when you have this belief and you orient in this way, you see opportunities to do right by kids that you might not otherwise. If you think for a second about what would be different about our education system if we approached back to school centered in the needs of the most vulnerable. If you plan for the haves, you prepare for a time with crisp notebooks, meeting new teachers, building new relationships with other students. If you prepare for the have-nots, you start to consider the students right now who are coming back to school having lost family members to COVID, who are experiencing hunger and homelessness, extreme racial disparity, and you start to focus on a much more comprehensive definition of what it means to go back to school. You start to think about the responsibility you have to think about food security, mental health, wellness, how all students should walk through your doors and immediately feel like they belong. It is this definition of what it means to go back to school that I am personally committed to for all of our OneGoal students in 11th and 12th grade right now. Truly, it is my hope that someday we all will center on the ones who need us the most. The second belief for me is just as critical. All of our work must first and foremost be recognized as human work. Humanity is required of us. It's seemingly obvious that we should treat our students, our teachers, and each other with humanity, but I imagine that we all have examples where policy, efficiency, fear, and all of the isms are actually creating a dehumanizing experience for our teachers and our young people. We talk about who's college material and who's not. We give some schools adequate resources for advising and some have none. We talk about some people's history in our classrooms and not others. None of these practices are truly humane. I know I'm standing in front of you today because a social worker looked at a Black truant kid with a pretty bad attitude and saw a full human being. She saw someone who deserved to dream, who deserved a bit of kindness, forgiveness, patience, and support. And the truth is, all of our students deserve that. At OneGoal, we are on a mission to ensure that all students have an equitable opportunity to achieve their post-secondary aspirations. And we've built a curriculum that allows our students to explore their identities and be affirmed for who they are and what they bring to the classroom every single day. We measure success not only by the number of graduates, but also by our ability to build a culture within classrooms and within our organization that is rooted in the values of community and people. This is the intangible work that rarely makes headlines, but absolutely is a part of our secret sauce. At the end of the day, you cannot get to just outcomes in unjust ways, nor can you get to humane outcomes in inhumane ways. I am accepting this award on behalf of thousands of OneGoal students, educators, and staff, and I do so with a deep responsibility to these two core beliefs. And today my hope is that in hearing this, you make the same commitment to listen to the needs of the most vulnerable and operate with humanity in all that you do. Thank you again for honoring us with Bradford-O'Neill Medallion for Social Justice. Congratulations and good luck on another start of an incredible school.